Okay, so we are nearly ready to go. We will be starting in just a few seconds. I think. Potentially. Yep, so here we go. Starting off the race. Bit of a late start, but that's okay. Thank you everyone for your patience. We had a little bit of a technical issue, but we are totally okay. Good luck to both runners. Gonna be a very interesting race. So we're gonna start out in Yoshi's Island, specifically Yoshi's Island 2. This first level is pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty much just run right, tap, jump. There's not much to do. You're gonna see the runners are going to be running at full speed most of the time, and obviously trying not to fall off ledges. That's one of the things. If you fall off ledges, you lose P-speed in this game. P-speed being the fastest running speed that a player can run at. So here you might be able to see some of them going for a 361 time. Unfortunately, they didn't get it. That's okay. So I'm going to be referencing the timer in the top right-hand corner a lot of the time. That is essentially what we use to determine a good, or I guess optimal level. So here you're going to see them jump off of a box so they can get up there. Oh, Fitz losing a bit of P-speed, that's okay, there's a quick little backup you can do. So you're going to be able to see both of the runners. Ooh, Fitz taking a short death there, that was probably my fault, my bad, commentator's curse. You're going to see them running on the brown swinging platforms for as long as possible in order to gain just a tiny bit of time and go through the level slightly faster. And there's not really much else to that level other than that first jump, which is actually surprisingly difficult, even though Dunkel making it look easy. Fitz having a little bit of trouble, but making it through the level, no problem whatsoever. So that, as I was saying, that top right-hand corner time, basically it goes down from usually about 300 or 200, and I'm going to be referencing the last two digits most of the time, like a 59 or a 60. Dunkel going for shell jump? No shell jump. That he could have gone for a mid-air shell jump there, of which is a 2 to 3 frame window, I believe, of which you basically tap left and then tap right and let go of Y, so you can throw the shell underneath your feet, and it saves about 0.2 of a second in this level. Like, absolutely no time whatsoever, but it's interesting to see whether they'll go for it or not. So Dunkel entering Iggy's castle, the first castle on the run, where you'll see them, both the runners, grabbing the nets. And they're interesting because you can hit up or down to stay on the nets, and they also make you lose P-speed, so it's a little bit of a tricky platforming section. Dunkel making it through no problem. Dunkel is going to be grabbing the midway for, well, obviously a checkpoint if they die, but also for a mushroom. And that's interesting because in the next world you will be starting to see a diversion of routes, possibly. Oh, Fitz having a bit of trouble jumping off the rope there. Jumping off the chain there. Getting through, no problem as well. And there you go, see, Fitz is going for a different strategy. Dunkel going for the slide kill on Iggy, no problem. And Dunkel is out of Yoshi's Island. So here's something interesting to note is that Dunkel will be grabbing Fire Flower, while Fitz is not. And that's mainly just for a level coming up in about, I would say, 2 to 3 minutes from now, of which is notoriously difficult. Fitz going for the kill without Flower is a little bit different, but getting it, no problem. It's a little bit different depending on whether you go into it small or fire, and it's really down to runner's preference as to what they prefer to do. So that will change the routing and the platforming very slightly, but not too much. So you might see Dunkel obviously running through places Fitz can't, because using the Fire Flower, you're able to kill enemies and actually continue running instead of just jumping over them. So here you're going to be seeing both the runners grab Yoshi just for a second so that they can get up to a small platform. Bit of an interesting strat there from Dunkel, but getting through no problem. And you're gonna see Yoshi here. And he's gone. Bye, Yoshi. So Fitz is just going through Donut Plains 1 as well, and it should be relatively similar. Dunkel entering the first swimming level of the run, the water level of the run at least, of which I should explain swimming probably. Swimming in Super Mario World is a little bit weird because when you swim while holding an item, you swim at a lot faster than if you were not holding an item. And that not only makes you go faster, so obviously speedrunners will try to grab an item as soon as possible whenever they can, but it also modifies the controls a little bit, so you might see some of the runners. Yeah, so Dunkel is going to start moving more up and down a little bit smoothly, and that's because that's the way the controls are modified. You hit up and down to move up and down on the horizontal, on a vertical plane. Fitz making it through as well, going for a scroll, so then they can grab the throw block a little bit easier to making that fish go out of the way. Dunkel going into the first ghost house of the run now, and hopefully you're going to see both of the runners do a little bit of an interesting strat, of which allows them to gain some height so they can get up to the door and the end of the level a little bit faster. Double spin jump up the stairs, gets P-speed, spin jump on the ghost, and make it up to the platform to get to the door to the end of the level. Normally you'd have to do a bit of a puzzle, but doing that is quick, easy, and saves a lot of time, so that's very interesting. Dunkel going to the level I was talking about here, Donut Plains 3. It is notoriously difficult, and Dunkel going in with fire will hopefully attempt one of the more riskier but interesting strats. Fitz getting the ghost house spin jump very easily as well. So you're going to see him spin jump and gain P-speed. And you're going to see, oh, going for the vine strat actually. Okay, that's a bit of a more safe strat, but totally understandable in a marathon setting because the actual strat is, oh, commentator's curse, my bad. Taking a short death there, but as you can see, it is a very difficult level. That jump is just ridiculously hard. Fitz going also for the vine strat. Seeing that it's a marathon setting, I really don't blame either of them. The actual strat is a lot harder. Yeah, Fitz getting the jump there. It's like a 2-frame jump or so. It depends on Mario's P-speed, I think. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, Dunkel taking another death there. That's unfortunate. And Fitz making it through, no problem. Vine strat, best strat. Yeah, sure. Okay. But honestly, this is a very difficult level, and it's very impressive that Fitz was able to make it through first try, honestly. It's ridiculously difficult. It's hard for beginners and for experienced runners alike. Fitz going into Donut Plains 4, where you'll be seeing them grab another Yoshi. There's the Yoshi. Going for Fire Flower as well. Yep, opting to grab a Fire Flower is helpful for boss kills, of which I'm gonna start again there. I kind of screwed up my words. But basically, for bosses, most of the time you want to be going in with Fire Flower, because most bosses in this game are killed with either 3 stomps or 2 fireballs and a stomp. And it's just a lot faster to do it with a Fire Flower, because you can just do 2 fireballs and jump on them. Whereas with jumping on them, you will have to actually wait for them to wake back up again and then stomp on them one more time. So Fitz is going to go for a little bit of a cycle skip here to save some time. In just a few seconds. Right here. So that's a little bit of a tricky jump in order to get up here a little bit faster. Grab this spring and jump over this dry bones, and then make it all the way up to the top with a spring, so then you can jump up to the boss room a little bit faster. And that saves a bit of time, and going into the boss with Fire Flower, once again, will be able to allow you to kill faster. 337 door is actually really impressive and very difficult to do. So as you can see, killing the boss right there, Roy, with absolutely no problem. Morton, sorry, not Roy. And yeah, so that's Donut Plains, and we're moving out of Donut Plains into Vanilla Dome now. Dunkel taking up the Morton jump, I guess you could call it. Once again, grabbing the spring and jumping up. Yep, and doing exactly the same as Fitz, no problem whatsoever for either of these runners. Oh, bit of a slip up with the spring there, but that's no problem. And Fitz moving into Vanilla Dome, where you'll be seeing for the first time the Yoshi wing that are grabbed. Well, not really the Yoshi wings, but more of a blue shell, of which allows Yoshi to gain wings temporarily and fly up to reach the secret exit. Fitz opting to grab a backup Fire Flower there that can be used later in the run for a damage boost, and just as a safety strat in a marathon, in case you lose Fire Flower, it can save time on Ludwig in just over 5 minutes, I believe. Probably more than that. So here you're going to see one of the more interesting vertical climbs. Going to be ditching Yoshi. Oh. Going to be ditching Yoshi to jump up to there a little bit. And jumping off of a spring. The weird thing about vertical climbs in Super Mario World is that you have to be standing on the ground for a certain amount of time for the camera to actually pan up with Mario's movement. So if you're constantly first frame jumping, theoretically the camera would just not move. Like, would barely move at all, and you would just kind of see like the tips of Mario as Mario climbs up. So it actually makes things a little bit harder when you're jumping upwards, because you're kind of going into the Koopa jumps up at the top a little bit blind, so there's a chance you can get hit. But most runners have developed strategies in order to get around that and actually scroll up properly. So Fitz entering Vanilla Secret 2, of which utilizes another Yoshi. After we ditch the last one, we're going to be bringing this one into a couple levels from now. Grabbing a little bit of an extra one up there. A couple levels from now, of which is notoriously difficult without Yoshi, so most runners opt to grab Yoshi. Dunkel having a little bit of trouble with the vertical climb there. As I said, it is quite difficult to get the camera to scroll up properly, and these green beans are very finicky, and often one of them, at least one of the 4 will despawn unless you do a little bit of some tricky movement. So Fitz entering Vanilla Secret 3, of which we'll see the dolphins for the first and last time, unfortunately. But in the Japanese version, Yoshi can eat the dolphins. That is pretty much the only interesting part of this level. There is a different strat of which saves a small amount of frames, of which you can actually just not do a left-right entirely. But it doesn't save a huge amount of time, and most runners don't go for it, unless you're Lost Core, in which you have to go for it. Yobby food. Lost, I know you're in chat, sorry. Entering Vanilla Fortress now. So this is another swimming level. It is quite long, and there are pretty much nothing to do except just swim forward, really, and just dodge the enemies. At the end of this level, you will be seeing the first instance of a Reznor boss, of which is like 4 dinosaurs spinning on a wheel, and you have to hit the bottom of the platforms that they're standing on in order to progress through the boss. And therefore, it is different. You don't need Fire Flower for it. And the interesting thing to note is that the runners have a quick kill that they can do, but if they are small while doing it, often the Reznors might not be so nice. And hopefully they'll be nice to Fitz here. Very nice quick kill from Fitz, absolutely no problem. Stupid boss, nobody likes him contrary to popular belief. Everyone loves Reznor, dude. What are you talking about? What's the time estimate of these category runs? Really depends on the runner, but I would say give or take 40 minutes or so. So Fitz entering BB1, Butterbridge 1, of which is the best level in the entire game. It's just great. It's auto scroller, and auto scrolls are great. Shady, what was your last run like? I'm not able able to watch a lot of tawny runs. Unless you're Sten, then it's over 40 minutes. Nice. So Dunkel making it through the final parts of the fortress in just a moment. Fitz opting to grab some extra lives here for safety, which is totally understandable. $35 1x paced, except died in both Resnor fights. Ooh, that's rip. Dunkel going for the Resnor kill now. Going a little bit slow to be safe, which is understandable because there is lava underneath you at all times. That's great. And Dunkel making it out of the fortress. No problem. Yeah, so this auto-scroll goes on for a bit. Should have done that, yeah. Resnor is notorious for being very mean on good paced runs. I don't know why, it just happens to be like that. It really just do be like that, huh? Fitz making it out of Butterbridge. Oh, we get double Butterbridge 1 for... Double Butterbridge 1. Double BB1. Woo! Heck yeah. So Fitz making it out now, and we're moving into Butterbridge 2, of which is the level that most runners bring Yoshi for. It is possible to complete this level without Yoshi, although the second half of the level is a lot more difficult if you don't take Yoshi, and it's a lot more consistent if you do take Yoshi, because of the, I guess you could call erratic spawns. So you're just going to see them grabbing the blue shell and flying up over the rest of the level. No cape, no Star World, they're still flying, it doesn't matter. This speedrun is invalid. I am so good at game. I was speedrun when I was small child. So Fitz going into Ludwig now, of which is another castle, and Ludwig is a little bit of a different... Oh, going for the scroll. Trying to get that dry bones, that dry beetle there to do a little bit of a change in its spawn cycle, so Fitz can get through this room a little bit faster. And here you're going to see both the runners eventually running through this level. It looks a lot easier than it is. The height management is actually significantly more difficult than it looks. And then here we're going to see another vertical climb with some nets, of which once again are also very annoying because you have to be constantly grabbing up and down when you need to. And here's Ludwig, and just 2 fireballs on a stump will kill. But if you don't have a fire flower going into Ludwig, you will... It's a lot slower than other boss fights because you would actually need to wait a lot longer than other bosses such as like Roy or Morton. So it's actually very important that the runners carry Fire Flower into Ludwig, because otherwise they will be losing a decent amount of time. So it's very good that hopefully both of them will be able to carry it into the boss fight, because otherwise that would be a little bit of time loss for both of them. But Fitz making it through, absolutely no problem. So moving into Forest of Illusion now, we are just about halfway through already, so... Picked up the Kappa Shroom. So here's Forest of Illusion 1, where you may or may not see Fitz going for a backup mushroom for a little bit of a damage boost in a couple levels. Old Dunkel taking a little bit of a hit there, but that's no problem. Got a backup Fire Flower. Yep, Fitz going for the backup flower, because in 3 levels from now, 2 levels, technically 3, you will be seeing him hopefully go for a damage boost in order to get through the level a little bit faster. Fitz is playing pretty well right now, actually. I wouldn't say normal. I would say probably normal for Fitz, because Fitz is good at this category. Dunkel taking another hit there, unfortunately. Yeah, as I said, nets are notoriously difficult. So you'll be seeing Dunkel most likely going for a cycle skip in just a moment, he'll be trying to jump on Ludwig while he's in the air. Fitz right now is going for... Oh, Dunkel missing the cycle skip. But Fitz getting Yoshi clip second try with the left-hand side, which is an interesting... interesting thing. There is a lot going on right now. I'm struggling to keep up. That's okay. Fitz, just right there, he did a thing called a Yoshi clip, of which basically, by bashing Yoshi into the roof and then dismounting and remounting in a specific position, you can actually clip into the wall and just swim under the bottom of this very long and very laggy water level. And it saves a lot of time, and it is pretty much mandatory for any level, any category that goes through this level. DunkelGotik, I believe. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, someone yell at me, please. Fitz possibly going for wall jump? I don't know. Going for wall jump but not getting it. Forest Evolution 3, there is a wall jump strat that you can do at the very beginning of the level. And that just works because by entering every runner, because it's at the very start of the level, every runner pretty much has the same subpixel values every time. So it's a lot more consistent than other wall jumps. So Dunkel going through Forest Evolution 1, where he will hopefully be grabbing a backup flower and not the cape. Oh, going for a star. Grab some extra lives, fair enough. But you will be seeing Dunkel go for Yoshi clip again, and hopefully you'll be able to see a lot clearer than last time because I was talking through the middle of it, so... Fitz going into Roy right now, of which Roy is sort of like an auto-scroller for the first half, and then the second half hopefully will be a bit more of an interesting half of the level, because as you can see, Fitz has a Fire Flower in reserve, and that means he's most likely going to be going for a damage boost. And the reason why we need a Fire Flower in reserve for this damage boost is because by getting to the end of the level is good fast on its own, but if you go into the level and you do a damage boost with Fire Flower, you will be able to make it into the boss room with a Fire Flower, and that allows you to actually kill the boss a lot faster. Obviously, as I said before. Dunkel having a bit of trouble with the Yoshi clip, but getting it nonetheless. Fitz doing the damage boost right there, as I said. It's quite difficult, actually, because you're basically doing a lot of inputs very, very quickly. And with that, Fitz is able to make it into the boss room with a Fire Flower. Dark Gothic in English, DunkelGotik. I butchered that pronunciation, I'm so sorry. I don't speak German, I think that is. I'm very bad at languages. I speak Chinese, but that's not useful here. Yeah, DunkelGotik is how you would pronounce it in English, I think. But Fitz making it out through Roy, absolutely no problem, so that's very, very well done. That is very difficult because you're basically doing a scroll and running and then dropping the Fire Flower all within a very short amount of time, and just doing that amount of inputs like in such a small time frame is actually quite difficult, but Fitz getting it, making it look easy. So Fitz now entering Chocolate Island 1, of which is kind of an interesting stage because it has like mini Reznors. It's very technically difficult, and it's not like, it doesn't look that difficult, but it is, because there's just a lot of type platforming and general like little tiny things that can screw you up. Rules are don't grab cape and don't take the Star World shortcuts, so it's pretty much complete the game as fast as possible without taking a shortcut and without using cape. So Fitz right here will be doing another damage boost, hopefully, and also may or may not be attempting to do a little strat we like to call Spooky Door, of which saves a tiny amount of time, but it looks really cool because you walk into a door and you have 3 frames to open the door, or you will fall into a pit. So it's risky, but it looks cool. And Fitz getting it! Wow, that's really impressive. Nice job. Fitz going for, a different variant of the damage boost. So, what he did there is he actually jumped and scrolled to the left, of which actually allows, you to make it through the level while keeping your power up. Dunkel going through Roy and doing a little bit of a different setup for the damage boost, because Dunkel didn't have a Fire Flower. You can just go through the level while damage boosting, and it'll still save time over riding the snake through the entire level. But you just won't make it to the boss with a Fire Flower, and you will not be able to kill the boss faster. That's a good question, Lost. I'm not sure. Grabbing a cape is not an instant DQ. You just have to die and not utilize it as soon as possible. Fitz is Irish. Sorry, not English. Irish. My bad. Dunkel is Brazilian. Yes. Fitz now entering Chocolate Secret, a very technical level and very long as well. It's also quite difficult. Chocolate is notorious for very difficult levels. Yeah, Fitz going for a faster strat there, actually, not a marathon safe strat. That strat that you saw him do just there is actually somewhat luck-based, as in it requires everything to line up just perfectly, as when the Chucks throw their football is based off of a global timer, of which isn't inherently RNG, but it's impossible for a real-time runner to tell when the Chuck is going to throw the football. So there is a safer strat that you can do there, but Fitz actually going for the faster strat, of which is only about a 50% chance or so to make it through the level, so props to him for getting it. And Dunkel going for Yoshi for some reason. Not exactly sure why, but you know what, you do you. Have we seen any accidental cape grabs this tourney? I think I might have grabbed cape at some point. I'm gonna be real. I think I grabbed cape in the first race of the tourney. I'm not sure though. I can't remember. Maybe that was the practice run that I did, but I definitely remember grabbing cape and needing to die. Fitz going through Wendy's castle right now, of which is, once again, very technical, doing a damage boost to do what we call Crusher Skip right here, of which allows you to get a little bit closer through the Crusher cycle. Oh my goodness, going for the really difficult strat there. That is a 2-frame window or less to tap A to jump under that saw, otherwise you die. That's incredibly difficult. And Fitz making it through, oh, unfortunately losing P-speed in the second half of the level, but that's okay. Still able to make it. I cannot speak English today. Still being able to make it through the level, without P-speed, no problem. And here you're going to be seeing a more unique boss fight, at least for this category, of which you'll see Wendy popping up through pipes with 2 other decoys, and you just have to spot the difference, really. But making it through, no problem. Dunkel making it through Chocolate Island 2. Yeah, Chocolate Island 2. So catching up, but a little bit behind. But that's still not a deciding factor yet. So Fitz is about to enter a level that is called Sunken Ghost Ship, of which is a water level, of which also has ghosts in it. So it's a little bit of a difficult platforming section, or at least swimming section, and you're going to hopefully be seeing Fitz and Dunkel maybe going for despawn, of which basically allows them to skip a boo ring, of which saves just a tiny bit of time. Dunkel ditching Yoshi there, saving a little bit of time over taking the spring. And Dunkel going for that safe strat that I mentioned before, just to get through that first little bit, and grabbing a safety mushroom just in case to make it through the last bit. Because essentially, take 1 football to the face and you're dead. So there's nothing you can really do. So Fitz is going to take a slight pause right there. And what that will do is that will set up the ghost cloud here that you see fading in and out just perfectly, so that if you keep going through the level just right, you will be able to despawn one of the final enemies at the end of this room, and it will allow you to skip where you would actually have to wait right here. So regularly there would be a boo ring there. And here's the other boo ring, and you're going to see him using the mushroom to just damage boost through it and making it through the second half of the level. And here is a kind of laggy sectional level almost. Fitz is going to be killing very specific enemies in order to save just a little bit of time and make sure that the miscellaneous object at the bottom of the screen doesn't despawn. And you're going to see it in just a moment. What's that object? Orb. Dunkel making it out of Chocolate Secret. And moving into Wendy's Castle. And Fitz moving into Valley of Bowser, which is levels that are very difficult, especially since you're doing it small. So good luck, I guess. You're going to see him gaining P-Speed early, actually, there, and scrolling, so then the moles here spawn earlier, so it will be a little bit of an easier platforming section there. This is a very difficult stage because the moles' hitbox are quite erratic. Oh, Dunkel taking a bit of a death there. That's okay, it's the beginning of the stage, it should be totally fine. The moles' hitbox are very strange because their forehead is kind of not where it should be, and they'll actually kill you by you touching their forehead where you think that you can actually land on, but it's a little bit deceptive. Fitz going into one of the more infamous levels of the run, I would say, of which is Valley of Bowser 2. And in the second half of this level, you will possibly be seeing him go for a little bit of a strat called Sandbar Clip, of which is a clip through the ground of which allows you to skip a cycle and save 13 seconds. So we might be seeing him go for it there, but understandable if he doesn't, because it is a 2-frame window and incredibly difficult to pull off, especially in a marathon setting since it's at the end of a run as well. Oh my goodness, and he gets it! That's insane! Fitz is playing super well right now. And him going for a second little swag clip there, that's the clip we call the Louis clip. I think that's called the Louis clip. I literally just cannot speak English today. Pog Champ in the chat, Sandbar Clip. So that basically saves about 13 seconds or so, and it allows you to skip a cycle with this very long, almost auto-scroller-esque section. Possibly going for Iron Jump. That jump up there is actually based off of Mario's speed, and there's no way for a real-time runner to control or tell easily what Mario's speed is, so it's kind of down to luck, for a real-time runner at least. Here Fitz is going to scroll to skip the crushes at the start of the level, hopefully. And this is a very short level, but it is very entertaining because it's very difficult and it involves a lot of P-speed manipulation. So you're going to be seeing him jump back and forth on this platform to regain P-speed through the entire level and make it to the end as fast as possible. Dunkel entering Sunken Ghost Ship, so hopefully he's going to go for the despawn as well. Oh, taking a slight death there. A little bit unfortunate because that Podoboo that he jumped off of screwed him up a little bit and kind of threw him off his rhythm. It's a very difficult level because even if you make it past and you get damaged by one of the crushes, if you're underneath them, you'll just die because you're crushed into the ground. So Dunkel, I believe, is also going for Brewing Despawn. Yeah, and gets it, no problem. And gonna be damage boosting through the second ghost ring as intended. And Fitz making it through the end of the level, no problem. Here we go with the Resnors. Resnors are a lot more difficult than they are when you're small than if you're big, because there's a chance that they'll just teleport you to the right and kill you instantly. But actually, Fitz making it through absolutely no problem. Resnor's being very nice to him, not even throwing a weird fireball in his place. Dunkel making it through the end of Sunken Ghost Ship with a little stray golden shell. And some orb. Fitz entering back door right now. And Making it through absolutely perfectly. Very nice job by Fitz. Dunkel entering Valley of Bowser now. I believe Fitz is on mid 36 pace. I'm probably wrong when I say that, but that's incredible pace for a marathon. GG. Not yet, but as in, that sounds bad. Sorry. Dunkel making it through, making his way through Valley of Bowser 1 right now. Taking a little bit of a detour, which is interesting, but when you lose P-Speed, you kind of have to do whatever you can to survive rather than trying to get P-Speed again. It's a lot easier to go through a level when you don't have P-Speed than if you did have P-Speed for some runners, including me, so it's totally understandable that you would need to take it slow. Fitz right here is going to be attempting a little thing we call ball skip, of which skips one of Bowser's cycles and saves about 15 seconds. So here you're going to see him sitting at the left side of the screen, and then he's going to be grabbing that Mecha Koopa that he saved from the previous phase, and then jumping, throwing the Mecha Koopa up so then it lands on Bowser at a very specific point in the phase, and then waiting for Bowser to throw out Mecha Koopas. Now normally here you would see Bowser actually drop another massive one of his metal ball thingies, I guess. But by doing that, it actually skips that phase and makes it a lot faster. Saves about 15 seconds, actually. Dunkel going through Valley Bowser 2 right now. And Fitz making the last hit on Bowser in just a moment. Timing will end on the first frame of Peach exiting the clown car. Just a second. And time for Fitz. 36:15. That is an incredible run. GG. Dunkel a little bit behind, but having had a little bit of some slip-ups and mistakes due to some unfortunate enemy spawns, and regardless, making it through very nicely and doing the backup strats perfectly. So very nice job to Dunkel as well. That's a really good time for a Tony, 36:55, so very nice job for Fitz. So hopefully Fitz will be joining us for an interview in a little bit. I'm not exactly sure. Dunkel is still doing an incredible job regardless of how behind it may seem he is. He's still doing an incredible job for the way that the game has been treating him. So entering the Reznor fight again. Reznor's throwing him a bit of a mean fireball there, yeah. So that's just an example of how mean the Reznors can be. They can just throw a fireball right in your face and there's nothing you can do about it except get hit and tank through it. But I believe Dunkel is on mid 40 pace or so, give or take. Dunkel going through the dark room. And Dunkel will be right behind Fitz. No setup for Mike? No worries, Fitz. GG on the win. That was an incredible run, so nice job. Yeah, have a good night. Or morning, I guess. Yeah, but just reiterating how unbelievable it for 36:15 in a race. I think there were only 2 deaths in that run from Fitz, in DP3 and then in, oh, when was it? In Valley of Bowser Fortress. So that's an incredible run for a marathon. So just insane job by Fitz. And very, very nice job of Dunkel by making it through all the way while still doing backup strats and everything. Dunkel going for a bit of a different setup on ball skip. But essentially ball skip doesn't need a specific setup, especially for no cape. All you really have to do is hit Bowser when he's in his mid-ball animation. So it's not incredibly difficult to do. So Dunkel going for the final few hits on Bowser. And time coming up for Dunkel. Time. 40:26:02. So only a 4-minute difference, which is incredibly well done for a marathon race. For a no reset run at least. That is a very, very nice run from both of them. Very good. GG. So I don't know whether we have the command up for what's it called? To just shout out the runners. If someone wants to put that command in, I don't know what it is. But make sure to follow both of the runners, Fitz1889 and DunkelGotik. Yeah, there we go, thank you. Fitz1889 and DunkelGotik on twitch.tv. Very nice run from both of them. That was insane. Just checking whether Dunkel wants to come for an interview? Potentially? Yeah, but GG to both runners. That was insane. Very, very nice run. I think one of the most impressive parts of the run is both of them actually got Yoshi Clip second try, I believe. Even though they screwed up the first bit, but they still managed to take it back very easily. So that's a really nice thing for them to do. Roy as well was very well done by both of the runners. And honestly, just overall, a very solid gameplay from Dunkel and just incredibly speedy gameplay from Fitz. So overall, very, very impressive show of the skill of both the runners and just how much time and effort they've put into this game. Thank you, Laraman. Yeah, but if Dunkel isn't going to be joining for an interview... Oh, no, Dunkel will be joining for an interview. Cool. Dunkel will be doing an interview on the Portuguese channel. Dunkel will be doing an interview on the Portuguese channel, not here. So, I am not exactly sure what I need to do now. Do I need to leave the stream up for the Portuguese restream? I'm not exactly sure. That's okay. Yeah, but definitely keep in mind that the tourney is not even close to over yet. There are still lots more races coming to SpeedGaming channels near you very soon. So that will be those will all be very high quality races, and I highly recommend that you check out the Super Mario World Discord if you're interested in learning Super Mario World. Speedrun.com/SMW. If you want to go and check out the leaderboards. SMWspeedruns.com if you'd like to learn more about Super Mario speedrunning. And if you're interested in watching other tourney races, you could just... Oh, what's the best way to do it? Probably go to challenge.com/NCNSW. I'll just copy and paste that link in chat. Jump to that link if you'd like to see the upcoming matchups, and definitely keep an eye out on yeah, there's the bracket for you and the schedule as well. Definitely keep an eye on the schedule if you'd like to if you would like to keep an eye on the upcoming races. They will all be very high quality and very interesting races, so I'm very hyped to see how the rest of the tourney plays out. Thank you, Jono. Yeah, but this has been a very incredible race, and honestly, the races are only going to get better from here. I believe we have... Let's just check very quickly. Which races are coming up later tonight, because I believe that there are 2 coming up later tonight. Yep, so we have at 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. EST respectively, we have Umario versus Louis, of which will be that's a very, very good. That's going to be a really good race. Both of the runners being very how do I say it? Very good runners. That sounds stupid. Both of the runners being very high quality. I don't know how to speak English anymore. Both of the runners having really good times. There we go. 5 p.m. And then at 6 p.m. we will have Sten versus IDABS. And both of them are actually also very, very good. So both of those races will be very interesting to watch. I unfortunately can't make those, but Carrick and Super D will be commentating those as well. But Umar versus Louis will be really interesting because Louis is both of them are top runners of this game. Same with Sten and Dabs, honestly. I'm rooting for Sten because he's Aussie. But yeah. Yeah, but thank you all for stopping by. It was a very, very good race, so I'm very happy to be a part of it. Okay, yeah, so I think that'll do it for the race tonight. Thank you all for stopping by. Make sure to follow both the runners at twitch.tv/Fitz1889 and twitch.tv/DunkelGotik, respectively. Yeah, and make sure to watch out for the upcoming races later tonight, 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. EST. They'll both be really good races, I promise. So definitely make sure to keep an eye out for those. But yeah, thank you everyone, and have a good night, evening, afternoon, wherever you may be. Thank you for stopping by and making this stream very comfy and cool. Have a good afternoon time-ish.